As down as you were after Saturday's game, as a captain, it's your job to pick the other guys up. Who picks you up when you're down as you were?
It's a pretty tough question. I think it's more just of understanding that football is one of those games. It's going to have ups, downs. It's going to take you sideways. It's a very demanding emotionally game, and Saturday definitely it was a hard one for me, especially. But you know, I vent to my mom, my girlfriend, my best friends, my dad. But none of them really bring me back up. It's just more of an outlet to speak on how I was feeling and all that kind of stuff. And but it's more about yourself to bring yourself back up. Just knowing about how hard of a game football really is, and the only thing you can do is keep working to get better. And it's like I said before, you can vent about it all you want, but nothing's going to change unless you go back to work. And that's all I've been focused on from Sunday to Monday on, and feeling a lot better than I did on Saturday night, that's for sure.
What's the process you go through? Does it take until Tuesday where you can now focus on the task ahead instead of letting what happened before fester?
I think so. I think you get back out to practice yesterday on Tuesday, and you can kind of wash the stink off of you. I mean, you sit there all weekend and just watch that one play over and over and over again, and you kind of drive yourself insane. But it's one play. It's one of those things that I guess I got to work on the timing of my misses, because it was a pretty brutal one. But no, yeah, you can't really get full back into it until there's a game plan in front of you. There's a next opponent, and just go back to work on what you can control, and the team that we're going to face this week in Boston College.
The role as a captain, how does it expand after a loss? Like, what do you guys do together as a group to make sure this happens or this doesn't happen moving forward?
Well, I think that's where we screwed up last year, in the fact that we tried to do too much. I think that I talk with Coach Easthand about it all the time. When you mess up a play or you mess up a game as a team, you wind up on the losing side of things. It's normally just a couple small things here and there that you got to alter, that you got to change. And where we're going to be a lot different is that we're not going to go into panic mode. We're not going to go into anything that's too drastic, because we know we're a good football team. We got a lot of talented players and a lot of great leaders, and we're going to just be as consistent as we can as possible to get our jobs done and to eliminate the mistakes that were made. And that's all you really can do moving forward. And it's the coach's job to point them out. It's the player's job to fix it, and that's all you can really do. And as a captain, I'm just going to help. I'm going to do fix myself first, and then wherever I can help, I'll help.
So you don't have to talk maybe as much this year as you did last year?
No.
Mike, when you think of playing Boston College, what comes to mind?
Family, for me at least. You know, I got a guy that I've looked up to my entire life since I was a little kid that went there, and my football fandom started by watching Boston College and what Matt was able to do on Saturdays there, and that's when I really truly fell in love with the game of football and started to dream a little bit. And playing BC, it's a great program. I was very interested in going to school there when I was a high school kid. Luckily, I chose to go here, in my personal opinion. Yeah, it's just one of those things that it's cool, because I have a lot of family ties there. Matt went there. My uncle John Lockery played there in the early '80s, and it's one of those things that it's a cool game for me. It was cool back in 15 when we went to play in Fenway, and there's a lot of history between the two of our programs, with the two Division I-A Catholic institutions in America, and the Holy War, I guess you can call it.
They're always good in the trenches defensively. So, and maybe leading into the answer, but I mean, what's the key to having success against BC's defense?
Being fundamentally sound, being schematically sound. They're going to move a lot. They have a lot of great players up front, and you know, just doing your job and making anything bigger than it really is. Like I said, not fixing too many problems or being too drastic on how you fix the problems that arose last week, and just look at this. It's a new game. It's a new week. It's a new opponent, and they're going to do different things out there. And just studying all week of the tips that they're going to give you, the way that they play the game, and how hard you play, and that's really all that you really can do to win success, especially up front in football every Saturday.
How would you describe Harold Landry's game?
Well, he's good. He's obviously a fantastic football player. I think he had 16 and a half or 17 sacks last year. So obviously doing something right, and he's a really good football player. He's quick off the edge, strong, shifty, and he has a high motor, and that's normally a good combination for getting past offensive tackles like myself. So I got to do a good job this week in preparing for him and for the rest of BC's defensive ends. But the good thing about offensive line is that most of what happens out there is in my control. So Harold is going to have to react to what I do to him more so than I'm going to have to react to what he does to me in terms of how to block him.
Right.
And that's what I like about playing my position, is that I just can keep working and working and working until I feel comfortable with how I'm moving, how I'm setting, and how I'm getting on blocks.
Do they move him around, or do you expect to be going head-to-head with him the bulk of the night?
I think they do move him around. They do a lot of they're primarily an over front, so they shift to the tight end with the 3 technique, and he normally is with the nose guard, so they'll move back and forth.
Does he have a signature move, or is it varied?
He's varied, but like I said, a lot of speed. Tries to get you around the edge most of the time, but he throws a lot of different combinations of things of how he does that, for sure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, I know you guys have to, have practice this week and be focused on that and preparing. At the same time, when you come off the loss, is there just a hunger inside to kind of get back on the field in a real game and show everyone what you guys are made of?
Absolutely. It's going to be a big week for us, but like you said, we do have to go out and practice, and we're not going to win on Saturday unless we win Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So it's definitely a great challenge. BC's a great defense, and they're going to have a lot of things ready for us, and we're Notre Dame, and we expect everybody to throw their best shot at us. And there's nothing really other than that you can really prepare for. We're going to play our hearts out. Everybody's kind of angry, kind of pissed off, and ready to get back out and see another team again. But we got to take it day by day first. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks with all those guys. I loved it.
Thank you.
What'd you think of that?
Honestly, I saw somebody out of the corner of my eye. I did not know it was him. But thank God I answered that okay.
He got his hands wrapped up with things.
You guys have struggled on the road since you've been here, 5-11 during your time in true road games. What makes the road difficult, and what do you have to do to be successful?
I think that college football in general, to just get wins is pretty difficult. And I guess the added things that come along with going on the road, you can't really make an excuse because everybody has to do it, but there's different wrinkles about traveling and different crowds and things and it's just you're just not in your element, so adding the road is just a different wrinkle, but it's hard to win at home too. Clearly we've had our fair share of losses at home as well, so college football is just hard to win in general. There's a couple logistical things that come along with playing on the road that makes things more difficult than they needed to be. But every week's really, really hard to win a game, and we just got to do our part to make sure that we win both home and away from here on forward.
Do you have to say anything to younger guys who haven't been in a road situation before to get them prepared?
Not necessarily. I think the coaches do a fine job with that. I don't really have to plug myself in anywhere that they've already plugged themselves into our lexicon and what they're saying to us. But just when I'm asked about it, when I'm asked by the younger guys what's to be expected, it's much of the same. You just got to make sure you take care of yourself, like I said, logistically with how you're traveling, get your stuff in, make sure you're taking care of yourself. As a normal day-to-day person, when you're getting on the road, there's just certain things that happen. You can't forget anything. You can't prepare any differently. But it's just the logistical things that are taken onto the road that provide a little bit different of a wrinkle or a challenge.
Thanks.
Mike, just going up against, I don't know how much in practice or in fall camp you've went against Jay Hayes, but what has led to his evolution and rise along the defensive line?
I think Jay's done a great job. His whole career. I think he's a senior now and he's ready to go, and has kind of chipped away at it his entire time here, waiting for his opportunity, and it's starting to come. And he's done a great job, and since the spring and getting into the position that he is now, of studying football, training really, really hard, and making sure his body's taken care of, and taking coaching well, and understanding what his role is as the defensive end on our football team. He's had a lot of success so far this season, and I don't expect anything but more of that to continue. Jay's a great person. He's a great teammate, and he's going to continue to work his butt off to make sure his job's taken care of each and every week, and he's shown some signs of domination as well. And he's put a lot of time into this game, and certainly evolved as a player since he first got here.
Mike, how specifically can you guys create more balance within the offense? That's something that I guess Brian has talked a lot about this week.
I think that you just have to kind of study and figure out where our I guess it's not really for us to study, but our coaches, they study the game plan and put the things in place that they feel as though is going to best attack defenses. And this week we got Boston College. And then it's our job as players to execute to the best of our ability. And no matter what the play is called, everybody's got a specific job on that play, and you got to make sure that you're doing it. And if you're not doing it, that's when the lack of balance comes, or the lack of however you want to call it comes. And it's just those things that certain defenses do a lot of different things to take things away from you, especially if they've watched you on film and see strengths that your offense has portrayed over the weeks prior. And it's our job to combat those things and execute to the best of our ability, and just make sure that our offense has the options to do whatever we can to put points on the board.